यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभु जी का 4 अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभु जी का 4 अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। नाम आचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंग, ग्लोरीज टू श्रीला प्रभुपाद। 229. My humble obeisances to all of you hundreds of times, especially Maharaj, Pravida Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas. By your blessings I can serve you Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nārāyaṇam namaskrityam naram namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपाकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। So we are reading today from Canto 6, Chapter 2, verse 29. So please repeat word by word. Soham vyaktam patishyami narke भृशा दारुणे धर्मा ज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमा यतनः। Now we'll read the full line. Soham vyaktam patishyami narke भृशा दारुणे धर्माज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः। सोऽहं व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके भृशा दारुणे धर्माज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः। सोऽहं व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके भृशा दारुणे धर्माज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः। नरके भृशा दारुणे बिना कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
सोऽहं व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके वृषदारुणे धर्मज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति
यमयातनः।
सोऽहं व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके वृषदारुणे
यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
सोऽहं व्यक्तं प्रतिष्यामि
नरके वृषदारुणे धर्माज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः। सोऽहं व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके वृषदारुणे धर्माज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
सोऽहं व्यक्तं प्रतिष्यामि नरके वृषदारुणे धर्मज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
Anyone else? Mataji's?
सोऽहं व्यक्तं प्रतिष्यामि नरके वृषदारुणे धर्मज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
Vrinda? Soham vyaktam pratishyami नरके वृषदारुणे
धर्मज्ञा कामिनो यत्र विन्दन्ति यमयातनः।
Sa, such a person. Aham, I. Vyaktam, it is now clear. Patishyami, will fall down. Narke, in hell. Bhrisha darune, most miserable. Dharmagna, they who break the principles of religion. Kamina, who are too lusty. Yatra, where. Vindanti, undergo. Yamayatanaha, the miserable conditions imposed by Yamaraj. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and must there suffer extreme miseries. We'll continue to the next one because it doesn't have a purport. Translation. Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone? And where have those 4 liberated and very beautiful persons gone who released me from arrest and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As we have learned from the descriptions in the 5th canto, the hellish planets are situated in the lower portions of this universe. Therefore, they are called Adho Bhuva. Ajāmila could understand that the Yamadutas had come from that region. I'll go to the next also because this purport is little small. I am certainly most abominable and unfortunate to have merged in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see those 4 exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:54, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kai. Please, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hai. Siddhi. Association with devotees is recommended by all the Shastras because by even a moment of such association, one can receive the seed of all perfection. In the beginning of his life, Ajāmila was certainly very, very pure, and he associated with devotees and Brahmanas. Because of that pious activity, even though he was fallen, he was inspired to name his son Nārāyaṇa. Certainly, this was due to good counsel given from within by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridesani vishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, is so kind that if one has ever rendered service to him, the Lord never forgets him. Thus the Lord from within gave Ajāmila the opportunity to name his youngest son Nārāyaṇa, so that in affection he would constantly call Nārāyaṇa, Nārāyaṇa, and thus be saved from the most fearful and dangerous condition at the time of his death. Such is the mercy of Krishna. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bij. By the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti. This association saves a devotee from the greatest fear. In our Krishna conscious movement, we therefore change a devotee's name to a form that reminds him of Vishnu. At the time of death, a devotee can remember his own name, such as Krishna Das or Govinda Das. He can be saved from the greatest danger. Therefore, the change of names at the time of initiation is essential. The Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाखया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So with all of your, I seek your blessings and permission to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are seeing here that from verse 29, which is today, to verse 32, Ajāmila is basically regretting that what a sinful person he was, and he might have to go to hell for that. And he is narrating what he actually saw, what in the dream, was it a dream or a reality? He is confused. And he's mentioning that he saw some fearsome men with ropes in their hand coming to arrest him and drag him away. And then he also mentions about the Vishnu Dutas, that they are so beautiful. These are effulgent, four personalities who actually rescued him from these fearsome men. And then in verse 32, he is saying that he is so abominable and unfortunate to have done so many sinful activities. He is regretting that. And he also understands, because he is a Brahmana, he knows the scriptures, he also understands that because of his previous spiritual activities, he could see those four exalted personalities who came to rescue him. And now he says, I am feeling exceedingly happy because of their visit. So, Ajāmila, as we know that he was going to the forest, and what he saw, he was a Brahman, he was serving his guru, he was serving his parents, serving his family, and he got distracted. So therefore he committed so many sinful acts that he gave up his parents, he gave up his family, and did so many sinful activities. But one thing that is important here to note is that he was actually acting under the guidance of his guru, because he's a Brahman, he's initiated Brahman. And but one thing what he did not do was that he got distracted. He got distracted from the instructions of his guru, of the scriptures, and he was simply in anxiety and frustration after doing all these abominable activities. He was never happy. So But at the same time, we see that Krishna is so merciful that even after he did so many sinful activities, Krishna actually helped him from within. Because when he was naming his son, so Krishna inspired him to name his son as Nārāyaṇa, and he was able to take the name of his son at the time of death. And there are so many instances where, those who are on the right path, they get distracted. So we can see the example of, say, a GPS. When you put a GPS, you have to go to some destination. Suppose we are going for book distribution in, say, Balboa Park. Like, for example, someone is new here. I put in GPS, okay, Balboa Park. And then the GPS says, in 400 feet, take right. So, and I'm just distracted. I'm looking at something else, or I'm talking to somebody else, or whatever. My kids are distracting me. And I miss that exit. But what does the GPS do? GPS says, recalculating. It recalculates and tells you, okay, now take the next exit, come back, and again then go to that same exit which you have missed. So Krishna is so merciful that he is giving us this opportunity to come back to our track where we are supposed to go. In the Bhagavatam, there is another verse where, Krishna is showing so much mercy to Putana. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam sayapaya deva sadvi lebe gatim dhatri uchitam tatho anyam kimva dayalum sharanam vrajema. So even, Putana came to kill Krishna, but she came to give me something. She had smeared poison and she was trying to kill Krishna, but Krishna said, no, she has come to give me something. She has come to feed me. But so Krishna gave the position of a nurse to Putana in the spiritual world. So Krishna is so merciful. So similarly, we may get distracted, but we can recalculate, we recalibrate and come to our path where we are supposed to go. So in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna mentions the same thing, that neha bhikramanasho asti pratyavayona vidyate swalpasya api dharmasya trayate mehato bhayat. He says neha bhikramanasho asti. Whatever endeavor you are doing in the spiritual life, neha bhikramanasho asti, it never gets destroyed. Nasho asti, it never gets destroyed. Swalpasya, even a little, swalpas api dharmasya. Little bit you do in the path of dharma, in loving Krishna, loving Radha Giridhari, it saves us from the biggest dangers. Trayato mahato bhayat. Trayato means protects. The word trayato, tra, comes from the word kshatriya. Kshatriya is the one who protects. Shat from harm, and trayato means protect from injury. So basically he's protecting us from biggest dangers, even if we do little on the path of Krishna. Even if we offer little flower, we sweep the room, or cook some nice offering to Radha Giridhari, or chant rounds or chant nice kirtan, whatever we can do. Or honor prasadam, that is also service. Instead of eating something outside, honor prasadam. So Krishna protects us from the greatest dangers, even the small things that we can do. So this is depicted in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, and Bhagavatam also confirms this. So it says that I will always protect my devotee if he goes astray. Even if due to previous conditioning, we may have so many previous conditioning. In our whole life, we may have done so many things, we can't even imagine, which very difficult to eradicate. But we have seen in these verses that the chanting of the holy name is so powerful that it eradicates, it burns out all those desires from within. Just like you have a rose garden, and there were weeds growing. So actually I was in one of the friend's house, I was living there, and there were a lot of weeds because he went to India for a month. A lot of weeds grew there, and I was thinking how to remove these weeds. So there was some people next door, they came to, basically they were gardening, they were landscaping company. I asked them, can you remove the weeds? While they were removing the weeds, I was thinking that right now they are removing the weeds will come again after a few days, right? Is there a way we can actually eradicate the root cause where the weeds don't grow ever again? Right? So, yeah, I'm just giving an example. Yeah. So So that is the power of the holy name. All these previous conditionings are in their heart. We commit sin, we confess, we again do it, we confess, we again do that. But the holy name of Krishna is such that it actually takes the propensity to commit any sinful activities from the root of it. So that is the power of the holy name, and always gives us an opportunity to be on track. Again, recalculating, come to the track, and our destination is Krishna's lotus feet. So also our acharyas, Prabhupada, and is our Param Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, also shows this example of mercy. So there is a nice story of a brahmachari. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was sending a lot of disciples all over the country to preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and preach the holy names of the Lord. And his disciples constructed a nice temple in one place. There were a lot of people who were getting bliss, and they were learning a lot of things. They were happy. So they constructed a nice temple, and they invited Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to that temple for the inauguration, for the opening ceremony. And when he came there, he was meeting everyone. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was meeting everyone, all the disciples, all the brahmacharis. And he didn't find one brahmachari, he didn't see him. And he says, "Where is he?" And then the leaders told that actually few days back he was he was basically turned out from the brahmachari ashram because he was getting intimate with some Mataji. So therefore we asked him to leave. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "No, I have spent gallons of blood, in preaching, in making you the devotees of Krishna. You should bring him, and until you bring him back, I won't do the inauguration." So everybody was like, "Oh, where should we find him? We don't know where he is." So somebody told, "Actually, when my watch was not working, he fixed it. So he's expert at fixing watches. So let me go and find in all the shops around the city nearby, like if he's working." So they started looking in each and every shop which repaired watches. And in one of the watches, he was sitting like in the back, and he was fixing watches. So they called him and they invited him, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, embraced him and invited him. So this is an example how merciful, our Guru Parampara can be. Obviously, after that he, understood, and he kind of recalibrated and came back to the right path. So that is most important thing. So that is the mercy of the Guru and Krishna. So and so one question can come in our mind that Ajāmila chanted the name of Nārāyaṇa, and he was relieved of all his sins. And we are chanting so many names. So is really something happening to us? So yes, definitely it is happening. At the same time, one important point to understand is that Ajāmila actually chanted the name in helplessness, and also he chanted inoffensively. He chanted because that was a very difficult situation. He was about to die, and so helplessly and inoffensively. So these are two important things. So similarly, when we chant the holy names, if we are like not chanting helplessly or we are committing offense, then it may not have that much effect. To get the full benefit of the holy name, to chant helplessly and without any offenses. So that is very important. And so one of the examples of a devotee who chanted helplessly was Draupadi. So as you know, in Mahabharata, right? Mahabharata such is a beautiful story. I really like Mahabharata, and I hope some of you also like it. In Mahabharata, we saw this is a gambling match happening, right? In the gambling match, they constructed actually a new palace to just have that gambling match. And there was Draupadi, and who was there, and Yudhishthir Maharaj lost to Draupadi in the gamble. And after he lost, Dussasana went and caught the hairs of Draupadi and just he was like pulling her to the main assembly. And she was saying, what are you doing this? I'll tell Kunti Maharani, you shouldn't do like this, misbehave with a woman. But he didn't listen. He said, I have won you in gamble, so I can do anything, whatever I like. And it was a very difficult situation for her. So they brought her into the assembly. And as we all know, that Draupadi was stripped of her sari by Dusashan.
Attempted.
Yeah, he was attempting. He was attempting to strip. Yeah, and so we know that Draupadi first she tried her best to stop him, but ultimately she raised her hands and said, "Hey Govinda, hey Krishna." So he didn't say, "Hey Govinda, hey Krishna." He was not like in sleepy mood or like she was like helpless. Please everybody chant, "Hey Govinda, hey Krishna." So she was like too much helpless. And so one of the most important thing for a woman is her dignity. And sari represents the dignity. So we can understand like it's the life and dignity of a woman. And then Dusashan we can understand to be the material nature. Right? So every time our body is like, that sari, and with time, our body is getting deteriorated day by day. We are also losing our body day by day. We are coming one day closer to death. So this Draupadi, she was chanting prayers. So one of the prayers I remember from Mahabharata is Govinda Dwarka Vasi Krishna Gopi Jana Priya Gaura paribhutam mam to kim na janasi Keshava he nath he vrajanath vrajanatarthi nashanam Gauraver paribhagnam me kim na janasi Keshava. So these are some prayers where she's basically narrating to Krishna that Krishna, you are the lover of the gopis and I am one of the gopi. Krishna, the other name of Draupadi is Krishna. She's like a gopi for Krishna. She's saying that I am basically merging into the ocean of these Kauravas. They are trying to pull me down. So please help me get out of it. So she's too much in a helpless situation. And we see that we are also, getting impacted by this material nature every day. With every setting and rising of the sun, we are one day closer to death. But for devotees, the setting and rising of the sun is like going towards eternity. Instead of inevitable death, we are going one day closer to eternity. And that is why Chanakya Pandit says that time is very important. He gives the example, even if you spend the entire wealth of the universe, you cannot get back your 1 second or 1 moment. Time is so critical, so important. So, and in business world, they say time is money, right? We say time is money. It's a resource. So when we create that spreadsheet, we assign, okay, who will do this work? How much time will he take? How many hours, he will take, and then billing this many dollars per hour. So we calculate the cost, which is time is money. So imagine how much money we have lost because we have spent so much time in not serving Krishna, because the purpose of life, the purpose of our existence is to understand Krishna, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, to understand who am I. So therefore it is very important to value each and every second, each and every moment, and invest it correctly. There is an example from Ramayana also, where Hanumanji, when he is going to Lanka, then he jumps off this mountain and to give this ring to Mother Sita and tell her that, okay, Lord Ram is coming, the first time when he goes to Lanka. So he's jumping off this mountain and he's shouting, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. And he's jumping with so much force that all these trees and everything, they are just coming out of that force, and all these animals, they are thinking what's happening. And he jumped to the ocean and he's going, and he's like halfway. It's like 100 yojan, 800 miles is Lanka from Rameshwaram, and he's like halfway, and the ocean is thinking, I should serve Hanumanji. And there is a mountain within the ocean. You know, we see a lot of mountains in San Diego, but there are actually mountains within the oceans also. Lot of mountains. So there is a mountain called Mount Menaka. It comes out and says, my dear Hanumanji, I want to serve you. Because you are serving Ram, I also want to serve you. So please take a rest. You know, you have been flying for so long. Please sit for a few moments. And Hanumanji says, no. Hanumanji says, I am on a mission to serve Lord Ram. I am on a mission to give this message to Mother Sita that Ram will come very soon and rescue her from the clutches of Ravana. Hanumanji says, I am on a mission, I can't spend a single moment here. So in order to respect the host, he just touches the mount and he goes away. He said, okay, I will leave. So it is so important. We also have a mission to meet our Lord Krishna. You know, at the time of death, we have to call Nārāyaṇa, we have to chant Hare Krishna. So we are on that mission. Similarly, we should not waste a single moment. It is very important how we manage our day. Everything should be orchestrated so that we can chant the holy names of Krishna very sincerely. You know, whether in the morning or whatever time, the whole day should be orchestrated in that way. First priority chanting, and then serving the deities, serving the Vaishnavas. So that is the value of time. So sometimes, you know, people think that I have a long life. If I have a long life, it is very nice and I can, you know, be happy, healthy and everything. So materiality means great. So what if you have a long life? The most important thing is, what are the moments that you have spent with full consciousness of that experience that, you know, we are not this body, we are the soul, we are the eternal parts and parcel of Krishna. Mameva amsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. That is most important. And human life is meant for calling out the name of God to attain that eternal life. Just like Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days, and Sukadeva Goswami said that you are the most fortunate person, because in these 7 days you are actually utilizing that for God realization. And similarly we see Maharaj Khatavanga, that he knew that, okay, I just have one moment. So he just remembered Krishna and went back. So it's most important to have that quality life, whatever time we are spending. And someone challenged that I will start spiritual life when I get old. You know, somebody challenged a devotee, and then the devotee said, what is the definition of old age? So this person said that old age is when your hairs become grey and white, so, and when you start losing your energy, your health. Then the devotee said that you can get some disease and your hairs can become grey, you know, when you are in 20s or 30s, and you can lose your health even without getting old, if you get some disease or whatever. That is not the definition of old age. According to scriptures, the definition of old age is that the one who is closer to death. He gave an example. Suppose there is a 5-year-old child who is running on the street, and there is an 80-year-old man who is just, you know, sipping tea or coffee or whatever and reading newspaper. Who is old? So right now it seems that, okay, that 80-year-old man is old. But after 5 minutes, what happens is, a car comes by and this child goes to pick up his ball or whatever on the road, and the car just bangs into this and he leaves his body, that young boy. Who is old? Therefore, this is the time, right now is the time, in the present, this is the time to actually question that why am I here, what is the purpose of my life, who is God, who is Krishna. So we must ask those questions right now. Yeah. So as we know, Ajāmila was a grihastha, and I know, you know, most of us are also some of the grihasthas here, and brahmacharis also. So even while we are working, we are in jobs. So some of us may have the free will to just watch television in a free time, or just spend our time doing whatever we like. But at the same time, we also have an option to basically read scriptures, focus on our spiritual life, and grow ourselves, bring us closer to Krishna, serve in the temple. We have this opportunity always, and that is how Krishna has given us this free will. And the most important thing, as we know, is chanting without criticism. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that if you do two things, one is chanting the holy names of Krishna, and second, do not criticize others, then everything will be fine. It's the path back to your destination. The GPS will take us. But in this thing, while we are pursuing this activity, there may be so many distractions, there may be so many challenges that can distract us from all these things, right? So we have to take lessons from a surfer. So whenever we go to the surfing.
Surfing, okay.
Surfing. So if you go to Pacific Beach on the pier, many times we have been to the pier, and on both sides you see people surfing very beautifully. And they are waiting for the big wave to come, and as soon as it comes, they kind of try to balance themselves, and just not fall off the surfboard. So similarly in life, we may get some challenges. There may be health issues, there may be financial issues. Sometimes people may disrespect us, sometimes they may honor us, sometimes they may not honor us. Sometimes we may feel very happy, we may feel low. So situations will be like that. So we have to adjust, we have to balance ourselves in life and keep moving towards our destination. Because these things will come. Because this material world is Dukhalayam Ashashvadam. We will get problems always, whoever we are, whether we are millionaires or billionaires, whether it doesn't matter if we know like so many people, if we have so many contacts, or we have a PhD degree, or whatever we are, we will get problems for sure. But when problems comes, we take shelter of Krishna. My dear Krishna, please protect me, please help me. Just like Ajāmila chanted in that mood. So, and we have to turn this difficulty into opportunity. Whenever there is difficulty in life, if we have the right attitude and right association, then we can turn any difficulty into an opportunity. I'll share a small story of a woman. This is a true story of a woman from Maharashtra, India. Maharashtra is the same state where Mumbai is. So most of you know Mumbai. So it's in Maharashtra. So this woman's name is Sindhu Tai. So she was a simple village woman, and she actually just left her body like 2-3 months back. So simple village woman, and she was doing like some menial jobs with other like village women, like taking breaks or making houses or whatever. So there was a person who was a mafia in that village, and he was not paying enough to all these women. He was paying very less, below whatever the wage is decided by the government. And she went and complained to the collector or the district magistrate who oversees the police. And when this mafia came to know, he came to her husband, the Sindhu Tai's husband, and he said that Sindhu Tai was also pregnant that time. She already had 2 children, and she was again pregnant. She said that the child in your wife's womb is mine, and if you do not kill your child and your wife, I will kill you. That's what the mafia told him. This is a true story. So Sindhu Tai's husband came, and he started kicking her in the womb to kill the baby and kill her. And she was like unconscious, and there was a small cow shed. There were a lot of cows there. So she was just lying under one of the cows. And because of that kicking, the baby actually started coming out. And one of the cows was so nice that she was protecting Sindhu Tai by standing above her and protecting from other cows from stepping over her. So she delivered the baby under that cow, and she used a stone to cut the umbilical cord. She hit it by like 20 times. And she delivered that baby. And I will tell in the end who this baby is now. So, and then she had this baby, and she doesn't has any place, any home to stay. She's like clueless what to do. And what she did is she went to a mortuary, where dead bodies are burnt. And then because if the woman is alone, people try to exploit her. So she said, okay, this is the place where nobody would actually bother me. So she went to the mortuary, and they burn the dead bodies there. And they offer like grains and rice and all these things. So she would collect all those things and cook it on the charcoal, on that wood of the dead bodies which is burning. And she will eat and she will feed the baby. She did for a few days, and then she realized, I cannot live like that. I am going to commit suicide. And then she went to a railway track, and she was lying down along with a baby. She was ready to be, overrun by the train, crushed by the train. And as she was lying down, she heard a sound. She heard somebody calling for help. Some old man calling for help. Help me. He wanted food or whatever, shelter. And immediately, she was also worshipping Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. And immediately she got up and she thought it's a voice of my Lord Krishna. He's trying to call. And she went there, and she helped the old man by begging some food or something from other people and giving to that old man. And she was thinking that although I'm useless, I'm invalid, but still I can help this person. And then she was thinking about this, and she was sitting under a tree, and one of the branches of the tree was broken, like it was just hanging on one thread, thread means the veins of the tree, whatever you call it. And she was thinking that this branch is about to break, still it is giving me shade. If this can do so much, then I can do a lot. And she decided that she will do something great. So what she started is, she started meeting all those orphaned children who were there in the city, and she started helping her, started begging, and started taking care of them. And when people saw that she has a genuine motive, she's trying to help genuinely without personal motivation or personal profit, they started giving him donation, and they built her a small, maybe a room or something. And few years she had a big place, and now she had like 1,500 childrens like that. And she got like international awards and award from the President of India. So after all these things, one day she said the most meaningful and fulfilling thing that happened was, one day a person came to her, an old man in all the rags, and he said, I want shelter in your orphanage. And immediately she understood that he is my husband who tried to murder me. She could have just turned him away. But she said, okay, I will give you shelter, but you are no more my husband. You are like my son. And when people would come to visit her, she would tell, he is my son and he is very naughty. So, and that daughter who was born under the cow is now a doctor actually. And all these people in the orphanage, they are not just ordinary children, they are like doctors, engineers. She gave her very good education, good food, good environment. She did so much. So the example is how to turn difficulty into opportunity, and influence without affluence. She didn't have any money without affluence, but she influenced the society so much. Similarly, we may also face so many difficulties, challenges on our way destination to our goal. But we can, with the right attitude, with the right guidance, with the right association, we can continue to move forward in that direction. And the direction is given by spiritual personalities in our life. So we are very grateful to have very senior Prabhupada, disciples in this community. I have friends in different temples, and they are craving that, when will I get the association of Srila Prabhupada disciples? So we are very, very fortunate. You can't even imagine. Prabhupada mentions in this purport in the beginning only, sadhu sanga sarva shastra kaye. Lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoye. Association with devotees is recommended by all shastras, because by even a moment of such association one can receive the seed for all perfection. So we are very fortunate in New Govardhan Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Mandir temple that we have the association of so senior disciples. And yes, Maharaj. So that's what I wanted to share. And in the end, I just want to say that the scriptures also mentions that Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyati kathitam yartha prakashante mahatmana. If someone has that faith in the Guru and Krishna, then all the imports of Vedic knowledge are revealed to him. So similarly for Ajāmila, this he had a Guru in his youth, and his Guru saved him. That even though he was doing all this nonsense, but the Guru saved him. The association of Guru actually saved him by having kept the name of his son as Nārāyaṇa. Although he kept it, but he had that association of this Guru. So that is the reason. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
I'm thinking, look at the time.
Oh,
Devotees.
yes.
I got a bunch of questions. But
All right.
Okay, Hare Krishna.